Awesome, man. Well, I'm excited to talk to you. Here, before we get into your new single and music video that I love, here at Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passion. Where your passion for music kind of come from? Was a certain album or live performance inspired, or something that was just natural for you as a child?
It's kind of like a natural progression into it. I think it started out. My dad wrote for loads of motocross magazines as a kid, so I was surrounded by like that fast punk music as a child. That's how I kind of got into like AFI and stuff at the very start of my life, and it was kind of like loving the energy of all that happening around this motocross and stuff, and kind of just developing the love of music rather than the love of what's happening, and feeling that the energy is probably coming from the music. So that's kind of how it started for me, I think. And then I got into like much more like classic rock and roll because of like the identity of people and like these larger than life personas that were more like of a iconic figure rather than like a human being. And then I got lost in that idea of just like the idea of bands as well as the music of bands, and then it's just like that whole world building element I've just loved so much. So I just kind of just fell into escaping into it. So
yeah. I love it. Well, you got a new album coming out next year, Victim of a Modern Age. You do have a new single that get released, The Truest Blue. I guess talk about the writing process of the song first before we get into the music video that I love.
Sure. Thanks, man. What, The Truest Blue?
Yeah.
Writing process for that. I mean, for the whole album, it was kind of basing the sonic progression of the album on the concept and like the trajectory, like a timeline of a film kind of thing. So that's part of the second half of the record, because the album's like a it's like a double album in a single album format. So it's kind of got these two sides to it. It's kind of like a natural side and more of a synthetic side. And this is track one of side two.
Oh, cool.
And we're kind of like, yeah, I love it. I've always wanted to do something a bit strange with like an album format, and then like trying to, I don't know, push the idea that listening to an album is still a relevant thing, to kind of get something else out of it rather than like I don't know, song on a playlist or whatever. So it's like, here's a different experience. Let's do it forward back, and you'll get it. Like you'll get the, you know, a different like body of work rather than the song for itself. But yeah, so that's the first song, and side two is kind of like a reflection of the world being in another one, as it were.
Cool.
So
what's the first side then? Yeah.
The first side's like the idea of falling victim to the modern world. Like it's kind of
cool.
Yeah, being like the modern age is making someone essentially take like whatever their own decline kind of thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's like the idea is this person falls into this modern way of living, can't survive it, and enters into this new world somehow. Like that's up to you to decide, and then reflects on his place in the world as he knows it, in the second half. So
wow,
and that's like
so
the whole
cool.
Like thanks, man. I'm glad you like it.
That is a cool concept.
Yeah,
always
been into the bigger picture idea of like, I don't know, showing a mirror.
How many songs total then? If you got like this, like a kind of like almost double
it's
album,
it's a 14 track album.
Yeah.
Because it's still in like a single album body of work, but we've kind of split it into these two things. And it came from doing we did a lot of A and B releases, like 2 songs at a time when we started, and it was kind of cool to explore different things. And we thought, hey, let's just build it distinctive. And it's kind of like, I don't know any people that have this kind of like obvious sonic separation in things, but I'm not saying it's like brand new or like the newest thing ever, but it's definitely definitely kind of like a cool idea.
Oh yeah, it's a very cool idea, and you know, awesome. Well, I love the music video for The Truest Blue, and it's kind of like going to like an art gallery and experiencing this thing. And then it's cool because I watched a lot of the other music videos that kind of have that same feel to it. I mean, I guess talk about the inspiration for that and pulling that off, because it's I love it, you know.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I'm actually a video director, so that's my that's my work as a music video director. And it's obviously the most like purest form of my kind of work, I guess. I mean, I always wanted to make something feel like a surreal. Like my idea for Truest Blue was like to show this new world and kind of make it feel like this obscure like blue abyss of like reflection and kind of thing. So it's kind of like, and I've always been inspired by fashion films and like colder films like Kubrick films, Neon Demon by Wine and Refn, and all these like really meticulous but kind of like strange feeling films that kind of give you an idea to think about rather than sell a realistic story in a sense. So the intention was just to build a blue abyss, like a fashion dystopia, to kind of like show the band in its new form. Pulling it off was mental. Like our budgets aren't that big. So
oh yeah, I can only imagine.
Like that off is, to pull the Truest Blue off was a definitely big challenge. It was a few days shooting and I was painting the studio blue myself and stuff. And
oh wow, how long did that take?
Yeah, it took a couple of days to paint it blue and then a couple of days to paint it back to white because you have to obviously in studios to paint it back to something that someone else can actually use.
That's really cool. That's some passion right there. All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, 100%. It was definitely the whole band's like a labor of love. It's got to be, otherwise it's pointless, you know. Like otherwise, why are you doing it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Well, cool. I can't wait to January 21st when the album called "Victim of a Modern Age" drops by Rude Records. What a cool name, by the way, for the band, Modern Era. I guess talk about, I guess, the name for it too, before I let you go.
Yeah, sure, man. I think the name for the band, it kind of like, when we were trying to figure out what we wanted to, it was kind of what we wanted, trying to figure out what we wanted to say at the start of being in a band. And it was kind of like, Modern Era encapsulates everything that we wanted to say about the state of the world as we know it. And it's kind of like, if Modern Era is the, you know, showing our view of the world, then it's the perfect name for it. Like, I've always loved the name as well. I'm still happy with the name, and that's quite a.
It's really hard to come up with band names or any name for anything. So it's something that really I think matches your music and what you're like singing and talking about. I think it's pretty cool. So.
Yeah. Thanks so much, man. Yeah, it's definitely hard to make something, especially a name that kind of transcends through as you progress as like an artist or whatever. Like something that's still going to hold the morals up like 5 years down the line or whatever, and still contain the same message you want to talk about. And I think Modern Era definitely encapsulates that for sure.
Very cool. Well, anything coming up you're allowed to talk about? A new music video or any live performance or anything before I let you go?
We dropped a video yesterday for a song called "It's Just a Feeling" because we head out on tour. We head out on tour in 2 days with a band called Loathe across the UK, and like it's our first time playing, obviously because of COVID and stuff. And I think it's like 2 years now. It's been so long, and it's just so ready to show people like new music and the new world and stuff, and see how it goes. But aside that, I guess it's album.
I'm curious, when you play live, is it just you and your brother, or do you have like an actual full band or anything?
It's a full band. But yeah, obviously it's and I think the set's going to be split up into 2 parts. Like we said about the album, so like we're going to play a lot of side A and a lot of these raw materials, and then jump into side B, which is cool. So I'm really excited about that kind of the whole switch thing. I don't know if people are gonna, like, people that haven't seen the band before and haven't or don't know it, it's like if it's going to be taken right. But everything's an experiment, so it's kind of good to do it, isn't it?
Cool. Well, I hope I make it over sometime over here in the States. I would love to see you guys live. So
yeah, whereabouts are you based?
I'm in Orlando, Florida. So
oh, amazing. Well, I hope so. Like, it's just been one of those, definitely a bucket list thing to get to play America and do that thing. So, and I'm sure it's on the cards in the near future, as long as the world stays open and people. Yeah,
exactly. Things keep changing daily. It's hard to keep.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Man.
All right, man. Well, such a pleasure talking to you, and we'll talk down the road. All right.
100%. Yeah, man. Thanks so much. Take care, man.
Bye-bye.